Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you all from wherever you may be joining me from today. I am delighted to be here as part of Global Strategy Fest 2022. My name is Jen Beirne and I'm a creative and strategic marketer, and today I head up marketing for Amazon Alexa in Australia and New Zealand. When Lucas asked me to join today and to be part of Global Strategy Fest 22, I was of course extremely excited, but it also left me pondering on what wisdom I could impart to you today within such a short period of time. What would be relevant and what could be useful. And where I kind of got to was, most of my learnings when it comes to strategy have happened through failure, when strategies haven't gone to plan, when I knew they could have done better. But at every time I had those failed moments, it offered me time to reflect, to figure out the why the strategy didn't work out, and to understand what I could do differently next time. And through that, what I actually came to figure out and build together was a number of fundamentals, the basic fundamentals that I would put in place and ensure I ticked the boxes for when I went to building out any form of strategy. So what I'd really like to do today is to bring you through some of those fundamentals to help you understand why I believe that they are core ingredients that you need in order to build out successful strategies. So what are these core ingredients and these fundamentals I'm talking about? Well, there's three in particular that I think are super important when it comes to creating strategy. And they are customers, collaboration, and connection. And if you can walk away thinking and remembering 1, 2, or 3 of these, I'll be super excited and really excited to see what strategies you can build with them. So let's take a step through each of those. The first one, customers. Sounds super simple, but sometimes can be neglected. When you think about strategy, there is always a customer you're building it for. And the first thing you need to do is identify who those customers are. Now, it can sound pretty straightforward, but sometimes it can get a little bit more complex. When you identify your customer, the next thing you need to do is identify the customer needs that you're trying to satisfy. From there, you work backwards. You figure out what it is that you need to do in order to deliver it against those needs. So when we think about customers, it can sometimes be easier when we think about an end customer. So if you think about revenue models where you're trying to acquire or retain customers over time, it's pretty simple, right? You know that end customer is the person that uses your product or service. It can get a little bit trickier and people can get tripped up more when we talk about internal customers. Now, this is where we may have, let's think about something that I work on. I'm a marketer, but I work with a number of tech teams to help build automation tools that will better my team and help them be more productive and more efficient over time. Now, if you think about that, what they could produce allows me to probably market to more customers and in turn drive greater revenue over time. An end goal is driving revenue. However, that tech team aren't responsible for that end goal of driving revenue. They're looking at a specific automation model. They are focused on what they can do to improve and drive productivity of that marketing team. So their marketers are their customers. So when you think about internal people, you need to think about who your customers are. And if you don't get that right, it means you can go off kilter quite a bit. What can happen there is you might not be able to link your work to the actual customer needs. So what I need might be a really simple drag and drop tool for my team so that they can build web pages. But if I get an all singing and all dancing tech tool that doesn't allow them to do that, it's null and void. So going back to thinking about your customers, think about who it is you're targeting and then work backwards from there. Next up is collaboration. And what I'd really like you to do to think about when you think about collaboration is seeking diverse opinion. And why I say that is because seeking diverse opinion, people with different backgrounds, people with different levels of experience, and people from different function areas will help you drive and inspire more innovative thinking. We need to get past this idea of strategic setting being in the boardroom, C-suites only. It's an old age tale. We're in modern times now. What you need to think about are who are the individuals, peers, stakeholders, people that potentially report into you or in your team or your wider teams, who can come in and apply a different lens to the strategy you're pulling together. One thing we do at Amazon that I honestly think has been allowed me to make a fundamental shift in the way I approach strategies is we adopt a doc review process. And what that is we write documents for whatever it is that we're trying to build out. For me, it would be marketing strategies. When I build out my plan, so I'll write up my marketing strategy, I will then set a meeting where I will invite a multitude of different stakeholders to come and discuss my strategy with me. Now, this isn't for them to pick holes at it. But what it is, it's the idea of the doc review process is to get people from varying backgrounds, varying levels of expertise, varying levels of knowledge of Alexa, in my case, so that they can come in with new perspective. They can spark some debate on the strategy I'm putting forward, and they can help me figure out how I can iterate on it further to build out a really solid plan. So back to this whole idea of collaboration. When you think about it, what I'd really encourage you to do is think about all the other opinions you could potentially seek that could add further value to the plans and the strategies that you're building out. And thirdly, connection. So with strategy, there is always a main outcome. There is always a vision we're trying to achieve. However, where we can, a lot of the time where we can let ourselves down is we fail to link what an individual contribution can make towards that outcome. Think of strategy as having a number of different building blocks. Each block, when they connect together, helps you work towards delivering your strategic outcome. If you don't bring your individual contributors and teams on the journey and help them understand how they are helping you get to that vision, it's going to make it a lot harder for you to get there. When I think about Alexa, the vision of our team is to surprise and delight customers with features that help improve their everyday lives. And then I have to think about, well, how does that apply to my marketing team? What do we do? Well, we can help people discover and educate them on the features that are available, right? And then we kind of sit back and I would ideate with my team and think, and what would that look like? Well, we need somewhere to send them, right? To educate them on Alexa and what Alexa can do. And from there, we might say, right, we'll build a content hub. And then we'll need to think about how we're going to get customers there. What channels we're going to use to drive customers to those content pages. And as you can see, we're building out the blocks that will help my team understand the impact they're having and how that ladders up to the overall strategy and the vision that we're trying to work towards. What that allows you to do is build a much greater sense of team morale and motivation because there's a clear vision, there's clear direction. And of course, over it all, it allows you to have greater outcomes. So, to wrap up, if there are 3 takeaways that I'd like you to take from today, they are: 1, customers. There is always a customer. Identify them, figure out their needs, and work backwards from there. 2, collaboration. Seek diverse opinion. It will spark greater innovative thinking. And 3, connection. Figure out how you connect the dots between your individual contributors to your strategic outcome. I would hope that in doing so, this will allow you to avoid the pitfalls that I have faced over the course of my career when it comes to strategic planning, and instead will allow you to build out solid but successful strategies. Thank you.